again we come back to main idea and purpose. All right. I think you can only see till option C. I'll scroll down after 45 seconds to option B. Okay, your time to read the given segment begins. We got, actually all of you got it wrong. Okay, fine. I'll go ahead and solve this particular question. Okay, all of you all got it wrong. Okay. Um, First of all, how would you have read this passage? So, some studies have suggested that posture can influence cognition, but we should not overstate this phenomenon. This is your main idea. Why? Because the part after it says a case in point and then a colon. So, isn't this part giving an example of what has been said before it? Okay, so what is this case in point trying to show? That you cannot, some studies in posture have suggested that it can, posture can have influence in cognition, but we should not overstate it. That is the main context here. Now, the rest of the part describes the study. So Megan O'Brien and Allah Ahmed had subjects stand or sit while making risky decisions. Standing is more physically unstable and cognitively demanding than sitting. Accordingly, O'Brien and Ahmed hypothesized that standing subjects would display more risk aversion during the decision-making tasks than sitting subjects did, since they would want to avoid further feelings of discomfort and complicated risk evaluations. But O'Brien and Ahmed actually found no difference in the group's performance. So they thought they'll respond differently based on their posture. Okay, but they didn't. So isn't that the main idea on top? Some studies have suggested that posture can influence it, but we should not overstate this phenomenon. So that is our main idea, and we have been given a study by these two guys to prove that main idea. Now let's look at our options. It presents the study by O'Brien and Ahmed to critique the methods. Is this study critiquing the methods of other studies, or is it just a study what they did?
Just what they did.
Just what they did, right? So A is eliminated. B, it argues that research findings about the effects of posture and cognition are often misunderstood. Have these guys misunderstood their research? Have they not understood their research correctly?
Well, yes, sir, but they did not get the results they expected.
They didn't get the desired results. So does that mean they misunderstood the results of their research?
But they misunderstood them.
They didn't misunderstand anything. There was an assumption which they proved wrong. Which was proved wrong. Where is their misunderstanding coming? Okay, so yes, there was nothing misunderstood by them. Okay, because it says as in the case of O'Brien's study. So they didn't misunderstand anything. It explains a significant problem in the emerging understanding of posture's effect on cognition and how they try to solve the problem. Do they try to solve the problem here? Or are they just figuring out what is the situation right now?
Just trying to figure it out.
They're just figuring out, like, is there a difference or not? Now, whether it's a problem, whether we can solve it, is after you figure out all this, right? If you figure out if there's a problem in the first place. So yeah, they're not trying to solve any problem here. So D is the answer. It discusses study by O'Brien and Ahmed to illustrate why caution is needed when making claims about the effect. So they made a study to test this, that you should not overstate the impact of posture on cognition, which is what the whole purpose of the passage is. So if you see option C and A don't even mention the word study, which is what is going on here. And option B is plural. We needed a single option. Okay, in a lot of senses. Okay, effects of posture and argues research is a very plural option. That's another way you can look at it. Also, when you get a main purpose question, How does it differ from a main idea question? In a main idea, looking for subject or who or what is the topic of discussion. In a purpose question, you're looking for why. Why has this information been given to me? This information has been given to me to prove the main idea, which is the first idea. Are we clear, guys? With why D should be your answer?
Yes, sir.
Going about it very methodically so that you guys can't argue for the other options, which is how you have to think. The three options will be completely wrong and only one will be right. That's the only way they can justify setting up a MCQ paper, guys. Okay. Otherwise, there are a million kids giving each SAT every year, right? Every single time the SAT takes place. So if it takes place 4 times a year, 4 million kids are giving it. So if they have any ambiguity that either B or D can be right, then they'll get a million complaints and million people will sue them. So three answers will be obviously wrong and one will be clearly right when you analyze it. Okay, that's what I'm again trying to get to.